Hey everybody, good afternoon, and look who I'm sitting next to, fellow ISSA nominee. It is Mr. Andy Smith. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You are very, very welcome. So, 12 o'clock here in the UK, and you are sitting over in Australia at about 8 p.m. drinking wine. Not that I'm jealous whatsoever, but I hope you're enjoying that lovely wine, and you are in the studio this evening as well.
Yeah, I am. It's going down a treat. Thank you. I'm in my little studio as well, and looking forward to this.
Good. So, in relation to One Life, welcome everybody. We are through week 2 of our Global Food Bank Challenge. Okay, we talked about this when we opened it up, and we were basically talking about how can indie artists help everybody out there in the community and their local global food banks. Well, I tell you what, we've come up with some ideas here at One Life, but we did ask you to think about how you can help your food bank, which may be your local Tesco's down the road, or if you're in America, your local Walmart. In Australia, Andy, what's the local supermarkets who help food banks?
Oh, we got Coles, we have Woolworths. Remember Woolworths? And
I do remember
Foodland.
Woolies.
Although different
Fantastic.
here, they're a supermarket here, food supermarket.
Brilliant. So plenty of places where you can be taking all those tins and all those cartons and all those empty cereal boxes. Well, I'm hoping they're not empty, but all those cereal boxes who you've just not used, okay, down to that food market and help all those who may need it. Those who can't afford food, those who need food for children, to the point where, they just cannot find the money to be able to grab any last minute meals, the homeless, anybody who needs those food banks, okay? So there's lots of different ways you can help us indie artists. We have Tim Steinworker who had actually put on a festival for his local food bank over in Vancouver, and so many artists supported. In relation to One Life, we have Kimberly Ward live on the radio at My Indie, our sponsors, on Thursday. So please, it is Thursday today at 5 o'clock. If you are in the UK, tune in on My Indie and you can hear what was the live of the One Live show with Kimberly Ward and listen to her amazing, amazing music. Also learn about her journey into the indie music world. In relation to One Life, we have heard from Stone Pusher, our great rock band over in America, who has basically donated their drumsticks and also their drum cymbal and signed it with t-shirts and music memorabilia and are sending it over to the UK. We don't know how they're going to be playing their drums in the next concert if they're sending it over to the UK, but thanks for sending it anyway. We wish you luck finding some more equipment. But thank you for sending that over. That's coming over to the UK because basically we are wanting you to, in One Life, watch these videos and get us up to 1,000 subscribers. We're nearly there. We're on 620, but if we make it to 1,000 and you are number 1,000, that Stone Pusher memorabilia is all yours, okay? The cymbals, the drumsticks, the t-shirt, the music, all of it is yours. You just have to get the rest of the drum kit, and you've got a full drum kit to annoy the neighbours, okay? But what a great donation by Stone Pusher. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for sending that over to the UK. Don't know how it's going to fit through my letterbox, but hey, we'll see. In relation to One Life, music school is open, everybody. It is free this at the moment, okay? We have 12 tutors waiting for you to teach you the best there is in the music industry in relation to indie music, okay? From start to finish, okay? So we're waiting for you, okay, out there. So if you know a singer, a band, who really want to get into the music industry and really want to know the craft of what it is to make it, like this young man over here, okay, get in contact with us at One Life and we will put you in contact with one of our tutors. And if you want to be a tutor, come and join us. It's the best time to join us because at the moment we are offering this as a support to the indie artist world, okay? If you really want to give someone like a 16, 17-year-old just starting out in the music industry a helping hand, it is time to do that, okay? Because there's some great artists out there who really do need our help. That's one life. Basically, that's all I've got to tell you because it is 12 o'clock. And I tell you what, I've not been on the wine like Andy. That's all I've got in my mind at the moment. But what we're going to do is we are going to come over to Andy's story in the music industry. Now, Andy isn't a typical Australian, okay? He's a fake Australian, okay? He's moved over from Bristol in the UK. And if anyone knows the Southwest like I do, okay, it's nothing like Australia. But he had an amazing opportunity to move over to Australia with work. And now he's living his dream as a musician also in an amazing place in Australia. So, Andy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And you can definitely confirm I am not Australian by my accent.
No, there's no good day, mate.
Yeah, g'day, mate. That's how it is.
G'day, mate. Do you have to practice Australian when you go to the supermarket? What are they like when you walk in? Do they recognise your Bristol accent?
No, they look at me strangely, but you know, you got to remember, I don't have two heads. I am talking English. It's usually myself having to look at them to understand what they're saying because they speak. They mumble and speak very quick. Sorry, my Aussie friends, but you do.
They mumble and speak very quick. Fantastic.
Slow down.
How have you found it? How have you found the transition from coming over from Bristol to Australia?
Do you know what? It was pretty easy. Weirdly, I never have been out here before we moved. My wife has spent a year to 18 months out here previously. So she knew what it was about, but I've never been here before. So yeah, some may say that's a bit strange, but we settled pretty quick. I mean, I dived straight into work. My son was 4 when we moved. So he was kind of just running around, finding places to play. So the first 3 months was quite easy once we got into our house. Once I settled into work, my wife was a little bit up and down with it, just because we hadn't sort of gone through that process and making friends or anything yet. But once that happened, usually through the kids going to kindy or I've forgotten what they call it over there now. What's it called? Nursery. We met other parents.
He's only been in Australia for 3 years, and already he's picking up the lingo, you know, and he's forgotten about us British people.
No, 7 years. 7 years I've been here. But yeah, and then we met other parents who've become, you know, are really good friends, and so from there on in. And the beauty of FaceTime, where we can talk to family and friends, and you know, grandparents read our son bedtime stories via FaceTime, you know, so it's a lot easier probably than what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Definitely. But that's not to be said for the music industry. That's changed over the last 20 years. 20 years in the glorious music industry yourself, from cover bands to writing your own songs, you know, right back when it started in 20 years. Did you ever envisage that music industry was going to go in the way that it's going now in relation to, you know, the local person down the road making an AI track and becoming the next, you know, big thing in terms of going into the pop charts and God knows what else? It's changed a lot for you.
Yeah.
Remembering 20 years ago when it all first started, when you were starting up, you know, what were your dreams? What did you really think was the music industry was going to be like?
I think you always go in thinking I'm going to be the next big thing. I'm playing somebody else's songs, but I'm still going to be huge, you know. But it was pure enjoyment, you know, rehearsing twice a week. In the early years of the covers band, we were gigging every weekend. Sometimes it would be packed, sometimes it wouldn't. But it was just for the love of being with the guys in the band, playing the music, learning new tunes. And, you know, if the right gig comes along, once I get a guitar and a mic in front of me, then I turn into somebody else, and I love it.
An entertainer, because that's one of the things that you put yourself as a nominee for this year, the ISSA.
Yeah.
Are you an entertainer on stage?
It depends. Sometimes I wouldn't say I'm anyone like a Robbie Williams or anything like that, but in the early days, it could have been known to a couple of knee slides in,
Excellent.
so, try to give a Pete Townsend windmill and watch that go horribly wrong and try to be funny in between the songs. And all I can hear now is my old bass player laughing now. He used to just
Go on, do it, do the knee slide.
Oh, I can't. I don't think I'll have any knees left if I did it now. But it was
Can you remember your
great.
Can you remember the first song you sang, like as a cover band? The one that you covered. Can you remember the first song that you opened up with?
Yeah, so there's two. So I was in an Oasis covers band, 1998, just as a singer. So I think the first song singing through the guitar amp for my vocal was Columbia. The Oasis song Columbia. I think that was the first one we ever practiced. With the cover band then, when I was playing guitar as well, we had another singer at the time, and he hung around for about a year before I took over the main vocals. And I think the first one there I did was Tom Petty's Running Down a Dream. So a bit of a mix. Yeah. And then it went, I was trying to find, I found a load of set lists when we moved into this house off a lot of the gigs over the 15, 20 years or whatever it was. And my God, we played some tunes, some different, way out different tunes, from the Specials up to the Stones down to, we did What's My Name? That's Not My Name by the Ting Tings, to Gnarls Barkley's Crazy. We tried to be different rather than just play a cover song for the sake of playing a cover song and instantly they know what it is. We try to put our own little stamp on it, and just to make it a little bit different. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Sometimes it didn't.
But that was the fun of it. Yeah. I think the best one probably. Yeah, the best one was probably the Crazy, Gnarls Barkley Crazy, which is on that YouTube channel.
Oh, brilliant. We'll have to find that, everybody, after the show this evening. Is it still on your YouTube channel?
It is, yeah, still there.
It is. We'll find that for you. In relation to sort of like your career moving from cover band to writing your own stuff, when did you start writing?
So I think in that cover band around about 2003, 2004, when I wasn't the full-time singer, we just said, oh, let's write a song each and then bring it to the set. So the first song which I wrote and it got finished was called Rain Check, which is on my second solo album, The Equidistant Years. That recording is by the cover band Capone. So that was probably the first one, and that was played for a long, long time, a 2-minute 22 wonder. But yeah, that was probably the first one. And then there was another few, three or four, maybe Non-Future Man, The Longest Life Trial, which became LLT on my first solo album. And I can't remember now, there's a couple of others as well. So we kind of sort of sat around that. That was 4 or 5 tracks. Until then, I decided to start, I want to write an album, which was released in 2012. So 5 of those songs were done in that 6-7 years before I really knew I could do it. And then the rest of that album was done over 6 months. Till I had like 12, 13 songs, and it's like, right. One of my good friends could produce, Jay Welsh, and he produced it for me. And that was what come out, sort of thing, and really happy with a couple of those tunes on there. If I could do them, a lot of them again, it would probably sound really, really different. But there's a couple of them on there I'm really, really proud of. Changing Lanes, especially in The Twirl, which is I wrote about my wife when I first met my wife. And that was one of our wedding songs, which she walked down the aisle to when we got married. So there you go. I think she'd probably like that.
How to get your brownie points, eh? I did it with my fiance, and as all great writers, we get our brownie points by putting it in music.
Exactly. And then it just went from there. Yeah, I think it just carried on from there, and I can go 6 months with nothing, and then whack, it just comes out, and next thing there's 6, 7, 8 songs, demoed and ready to go.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, what we're going to do now, we're 15 minutes into the show. We're going to come back to your music journey a bit later on in the show. But what we're going to do now is we are going to introduce one of your songs so people can take a listen to your music, okay? And we talked about Side by Side in relation to that track. If you want to tell the audience about the story behind the lyrics and also a little bit about the track, just while I find it and I'll put it on for everybody.
Cool. So Side by Side was written towards the end of lockdown, when COVID was on, and basically it is just about having your own voice. There was a lot of noise, especially around the vaccines, a lot of noise around people were thinking they being told what to do. They didn't have their voice. You couldn't go outside. You couldn't say or do anything. And that song basically was about having your own voice and sticking to your guns and keeping your own opinions, and you're your own leader as such.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Well, let's put it on for everyone. I've heard it. It's an absolute great song. Please enjoy Side by Side. Here it comes. Okay, Side by Side, everybody, by the one and the only Andy Smith. Great track, young man.
Thank you. Seems weird. Sounds weird listening to it on something else like that. Yeah, but it sounds cool.
It does sound weird.
Sounds really
cool. Brilliant. So the next part of the show, we had some comments. I'll tell you what, music industry is really fickle, especially when it comes to award shows. And I don't know about you, Andy. When you wake up in the morning, you look for your social media posts. You know, you get the generation of people who turn around and say, I love your music, absolutely great music. I want to get right behind you. And you always get that odd one who gives you that social media post that gets you in a bit of a grump. And you think, do you know what? I'm not going to the studio tomorrow morning. Sod ya. I'm not having that sort of comment being fired towards me. But it's the music industry and we're used to it. You either lovers or haters, but we're still going to stick around. Do you get those sort of posts?
Yeah, usually from my closest mates, not on Facebook, but direct messages. They're just saying, hey, do I really have to listen to this?
What makes me laugh is people think that we're not used to it. Jesus, we go in local pubs, and we get heckled all the time as musicians. It's too loud. It's too quiet. It's not the right song. I DJ'd for a little while and those guys have it worse than us musicians do. It's like, can you play the chicken song halfway through the night? Turn that rubbish off and things like that. But I don't understand why people heckle. But one thing that said to me yesterday was about my show being the same as other podcast shows. Don't think so. I'm completely different to any other podcast shows. One of the things that we do different is we support local and national charities. So this stage of the show is important. Let's get back to what we do best in One Life. We support local and national charities. So it's Global Food Bank's time. What I've done for us all is I have taken a video from the UK Trussell Trust. Now, these are sponsored by what we call Lad Baby over here in the UK. Social media wide, the two couple from Nottingham who support the Trussell Trust, who release our number ones every single year, talking about sausage rolls. It is it's one of the biggest charities there is. Okay, so I have taken it from their website, from their YouTube page, and it is a bit of a poem about someone's experience of what life's like really when it comes to poverty, not being able to go to the supermarket with their checkbook, but having to have to go to a food bank and basically pick up their food for her family. Okay, so the video is about 2 minutes long. Please take a listen and please think how you can support your local food market today. Okay.
Oh, you're going to get free food?
He said with an attitude.
None of his business. And so what if I was?
I needed free food because I didn't have enough money.
I didn't have enough food in my child's tummy.
I didn't have a choice.
None of us did.
It could happen to anyone.
It can happen to anyone.
It could happen to anyone.
Apprehensive, I held up my voucher to a smiling volunteer.
There was something about her that made my fears disappear.
I was made to feel welcome. I was made to feel that I matter, that my choices matter.
It was straightforward. The people were kind.
The food was nutritious.
The food was needed. I proceeded to go a few more times.
To get a few more things to eat.
To stop my child feeling hungry as they go to sleep.
Soon my benefits were sorted and I was back on my feet.
I do not need to go anymore.
There is no shame.
There should be no stigma.
There should be no hunger.
There's too many people carrying weight on their backs.
There's too many people falling through the cracks.
In a rich country with a system that is breaking.
It is not my fault, and it is not of my making.
We need people to stand up and say,
it doesn't need to be this way.
Reach out if you can help.
Reach out if you need a hand.
It could happen to anyone.
It could happen to anyone.
It could happen to you.
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 love the message at the beginning. Sorry, at the end of there. Is this acceptable? No, it's not acceptable. We are meant to be one of the richest countries in the world. 2.5 million food parcels were given out, and at the end of the day, that continues to rise. We see poverty, we see homelessness, we see people laying on the streets. It's not acceptable. And it is a plea to basically all of the governments to watch these films and to actually look what is going on in your own country, and look and how people are affected around the world by not being able to find even a banana or a loaf of bread or a can of soup. Okay, what these food places provide to people, they're running out of stock, at the end of the day, and that's really sad to see as well. People are queuing outside their local food banks to try and find food to feed their families. So, I'm just asking all indie artists out there, however much you can support, whether it's just basically taking a bag of groceries over to your food, supermarket this month, or, a box of food, whatever you can do to help, please do so. I'll be doing the same. What we did say right at the beginning of last week, we did say, do you know what would be nice is if we go over with our bag of food, take a photo with a local supermarket person, because I'll tell you what, indie artists, there's some quite famous indie artists out there, and they'd be quite glad to have their photo taken with you, and just get back, or give them a CD along with, with the actual food. Whatever you do, please just take a photo for me, send it into One Life, and we want to see how you are making a difference, okay? So Andy, in your bio, you spoke a lot about sort of support to sort of many charities, including the Royal British Legion, Cancer Trust, etc. Is there one particular charity that has really hit your heart, hit home, that you really love helping out?
Initially, the first one, the British Legion. So back in the noughties, I used to run a music festival in my local pub called the Lamps Fest. So we would get, and they got bigger and bigger each year, but every band I asked to play, they did it for free. They did it for the charity. The sound guys did it for free. And the people helping out in the pub, on the door, the help with setting up the garden and everything like that. Everyone sort of mucked together and did it for nothing. And that was the first one in 2003, I think, maybe 2003. And that was the first one we did. No, it's 2004, because it was the anniversary of VJ Day. So we chose the Legion as the charity we wanted to support in honor of that. We're both grandparents fighting in the Second World War, and it means a lot to me and my friends. We've been over to Normandy to see the D-Day landing sites a few times, and it's something very close to our hearts, and so that was the one we chose. So that meant a lot to be able to do that. And at the time, our drummer, his granddad was still there, and he was a Burma veteran, and massive Kings of Leon fan, apparently. Well, he was that night. But yeah, no, so that one really sticks out well. And also the British Heart Foundation. My granddad died on the table having a heart bypass, and one of my close friends, one of his friends passed with heart condition. So there's been a few gigs done for the Heart Foundation as well. And I think anything along those lines which, unknowingly can affect someone just because you're not old should really mean something, and yeah, it does. And it sometimes we find it really hard to choose because there were so many. But
yeah, definitely.
They were,
and that's why we do what we do here at One Life. That's a great thing about One Life. It is the ability to be able to support you on a daily basis. These artists like Andy are coming to the show with different ideas and different charities that they're supporting, some that you may never know of. And we will make sure that you get that information on One Life. The artists will post We'll put links to local and national charities that you can reach out to. We live in a world at the moment where we are relying more on charitable causes, more relying on the support from local and national charities, and these artists have the pleasure to be able to work alongside these charities because they use music to be able to raise the spirits of people who need the support the most. You know, the Heart and Stroke Foundation we supported last month and managed to raise money and also managed to raise awareness. Guitars for Vets the month before, we managed to raise money and also managed to take guitars for veterans to learn music over in America, you know, so we've touched people in so many ways. Andy, thanks for all the work that you do for charity. That's absolutely fantastic and really, really supportive and helpful. And I'm sure you'll be doing a lot of many great things, you know, in the future as your music goes along. In relation to sort of charities, you know, that is a small part or a big part of the things that we do here in One Life, but we continue to support these indie artists. And one thing that Andy needs your support with right now is the International Singer-Songwriters Association votes, okay? Remember, everybody, we are voting daily. That includes One Life, okay? So get those votes in. We need your help. Andy needs your help, okay? Because he's up for 5 awards, is it?
No, 3.
Oh, 3 this year.
Yeah, not only 3. I think they missed one off. Initially, it was 4, but they missed on my.
Andy, if you're listening, that's not fair. Come on, Andy, add another one.
Yeah, they missed one
Tell
off.
us what you're going for, buddy.
So, Emerging Artist, Songwriter of the Year, and Single of the Year. So, you know, this is the first time I've been part of ISSA and first time going in for these awards. So yeah, it's a surreal feeling, but it's an exciting feeling, and especially Always Be This Way got top 10 finalists with the certificate in the World Songwriting Awards for the winter edition. I had that back the other day, so you know, that's very humbled and like wow. So, because, you know, when you write, as you well know, when you write a song or sometimes you write it and you finish it and that's rubbish. But then you write something which you feel is really good, but what do other people think? You know, so produce it. So these 3 tracks on my latest EP, I'll name check a few people here, but my old lead guitarist, Martin Fiddler, played the lead solo on I Want to Take You Far. And I really respect his opinion. And he's come back and said they're really good. And for him to say that, that's humbling. And somebody else as well, there's a band in the UK called Dust Brothers. And I'm really good friends with them. Ian Moncrief, I was using as a guinea pig to, you know, as I was producing, what do you think of this? He gave me a few pointers because these 2 guys, and you need to check them out because they are phenomenal. But these 2 guys are just so talented, it makes you sick. But they are also at the same time the nicest people in the world, and that makes you even more sick. But they're not. They are awesome guys, and Ian really helped me with the production of it. And so for him to come back and say that sounds really cool, you know, that means a lot. So it gives you a little bit of confidence when you're sticking it out there, but also you're still a little okay. All right, is anyone going to like this or not? You know, so
it's a real, when you're doing tracks in the studio, when you're writing your songs, you know, you feel yourself that it's the best single you've ever produced. It's, you know, but then there's always in the back of your mind that are people really gonna love this. I remember writing for my fiance, and I'll tell you what, she don't mind me saying this because I've said it before on the show. When I wrote it, I was working with a producer at the time who was really trying to work on my country music, and also like go into like country rock music. And I wrote this for my fiance, and as soon as she got the track back, she goes, "I hate it." I said, "What do you mean you hate it?" She goes, "I don't like country music." I was like, "I know." I said, "But it's about you, love. You know, all the words are really deep from my heart." It's like, "Still don't like country music." She goes, "Can you add some violins, a bit of Coldplay?" I was like, "Really? Seriously?" I was so disheartened that night. I was thinking, I spent so long on this track, and I spent so many hours writing it with my producer, and I was like, all the deep down love going in my heart. I poured out my heart to her, and it was like, "Don't like country music." Oh, geez. Back
Yeah,
to the
thanks,
drawing
dear.
table. Yeah. Back to the drawing table. Back to a bit of
Yeah.
Coldplay. Back to trying to give
Yeah.
a few more $100 to the producer to get the track that needed to come out like Coldplay, and it come out absolutely brilliant. It's now in the top 16 in some of the local charts and radio charts and things like that. So it made me think about actually when I write, it's also writing for others and actually even asking the question first, your target audience. I should have asked her first. Actually, I'm writing a song about you. Can you give me an idea about what you liked, or actually took it on board what she liked? No, I should know her by then. We've been together about a year. I should have known she didn't like country. But it was a bad move. It was bad. I didn't know brownie points were on my table that day. So
Well, those two songs, those two. I Want to Take You Far and Always Be This Way on that latest EP. I wrote those 10, 11 years ago, just before me and my wife got married. Sort of quite obviously about her. And I just kept that. I couldn't figure out. I knew I really, really liked them. And the demo was just acoustic guitar and me. And I couldn't work out what to do with them. And it's taken me 10 years to sort of figure out and work out that production to get them how they sound now. And in a way, I'm glad it's taken that long, because I'm really, really happy it's up there with some of the best stuff I've done. So all good things, I suppose.
Well, my fingers are crossed for you. It's a long trip from Australia over to Atlanta in America. Have you got tickets? Are you going to be basically picking up that award from Australia? Have you had any thoughts about what you're going to do?
Yeah, still need to reaffirm that conversation with the wife. Yeah, I don't know. I think let's see if the votes keep coming in and I make it to the finals on the shortlist. Then I don't know.
That's it.
You'll have to, wouldn't you?
I think, I'm crowdfunding for mine at the moment, and I'm also finding other inventive ways to try and get over to Atlanta, because with Trump's tariffs, I'm sure now we're going to be tripling the aeroplane over there. But at the end of the day, I think, get behind your local indie artists, okay? Get behind your local band, okay? Buy their merchandise at the gigs, support them, because at the end of the day, they need your help to get to award ceremonies like I say, which is a life changer for a lot of the bands and a lot of people who win those awards. They are independent music in a way where we reach out to like 25,000.
Yeah, and also as well, as you well know, your practice isn't free. Your equipment, buying strings, buying straps, buying leads, your guitars, your amplifiers, and batteries for your pedals, and all this thing costs money.
Social media posts.
Exactly. Yeah, it all costs, and
money.
it's the unseen, isn't it?
Yeah,
but we love it. That's why we do
it. We had an artist the other day, basically had 3 fish tanks behind him while he was on the show. And basically he was producing baby fish, rare baby fish, selling the baby fish, and that was for his studio time. Great invention, great idea. And how he thought of that one, I do not know. Maybe he just thought one day, how am I going to get some money together? I know I've got a fish tank. Let's get them breeding.
That's
and
definitely going to have to.
That's his way. So there's some great ideas out there. But at the end of the day,
he's going to have to call his studio that. Definitely going to have to call the studio.
It doesn't take 2 minutes to download Andy's song today, okay? It really doesn't take 2 minutes. Whether you're in the car, whether you are basically putting a dinner on, okay? Download Andy's music, put it on a stream, okay? And then Andy makes 5p from Spotify, okay? So each time he plays that, by the time it gets to the award ceremony, that's £2.50 towards the airplane ticket, okay? So keep streaming, everybody, and keep helping out Andy's amazing music. And fingers crossed, we see you in Atlanta, okay?
Yeah, it'd be awesome to get there, mate. Just if I can get shortlisted to the finals, wow, what an experience.
It will. But keep going with those awards. Keep putting on your great music, because it is absolutely amazing music. And when we're talking about amazing music, we are going to play one of Andy's next tracks. I think we will play I Want to Take You Far.
Yeah, that's the one which is up for Single of the Year as well. Fantastic. So yeah, and again, big thank you to Martin Fiddler for the lead guitar solo on this.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Is that literally behind it? Just it was his music. Was that him who like come up with the lyrics, or did you write the lyrics for this one?
No, I wrote everything for it. I then the beauty of the technology, the band he's in, the Ramjets in Bristol, their drummer's got a studio, so I sent the track over and I said, look, I'm struggling with a solo here, and do you wanna help? He said, yeah. So I sent him the track, and he recorded it at his drummer's studio and sent it back to me, and I just mixed it in.
Fantastic,
So,
brilliant, excellent.
yeah,
Okay,
awesome.
so we're gonna play the song. It's absolutely awesome. I've heard it earlier. Sit back and enjoy. And then after this, we are going to have a little bit of fun with Andy, all in the aid of charity, and he doesn't know what's coming up next.
Took you long to say how you made me feel. Couldn't show the way what my thoughts were real, but we took our time, didn't jump too high, slowly coached along until we knew it was right. To those days, we were so alive. Things change in time, but with the same drive. Now our love has grown with one of our own. Still the feeling is strong. This is where we belong.
Great song, Andy. Really enjoyed that. Absolutely
Thank you.
great melodies as well. Really, really great song.
Thank you.
Okay, mate. So, do you know what? For the person who called me out yesterday saying that this show is so similar to other podcast shows, you're not going to be doing anything like this, okay? You really got my mind thinking about how we can raise the standards over here at One Life, and we're going to have a little bit of a game. So, the last couple of months, we have been doing quizzes where we can raise money for people in terms of the local and national charities. We're going to stick with quizzes, okay? But we're going to do it in a different way, okay? We talk about indie artists and music artists having the luxuries that most people don't get, because basically in the music world, apparently we earn so much money, we drive around in Porsches and Rolls Royces, and we basically go out on the town getting drunk every single night and having parties. Now, I tell you what, in the real world, it's definitely in the indie world, it's definitely not like that, okay? We struggle just as much as everybody else does in relation to trying to make our daily living, especially as enjoyable as we want to. Studio costs are rising. The costs of like guitar strings are absolutely ridiculous. You break one, it's not 50p no more. It's probably about £3.50 per, probably a bit more. You know, at the end of the day, the indie artistry isn't the dream what everybody thinks it is when they're first thinking about becoming an artist. It can be, if you're very lucky and you hit that record label and you get that stardom that possibly you can get, but that's 1 in a million chance. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what real life is like for an indie artist. So we're going to play a little bit of a game, okay? We're going to do our quizzes like we normally do, okay? But instead of money this month, okay, for each indie artist, okay, we will raise awareness of each charity. But what I want you to do is every question that you get wrong, you need to go and collect an item of food from your cupboard or from your fridge and put it in a box before the end of the show, okay? If you've got a family member who can help you with this, that's fantastic. If not, we'll have to put a song on while we wait for you to collect something from your show. I just want proof that you're going to go and do what we want you to do. We want you to go and help your local food market. And also, we're quite being sneaky and finding out what's in your kitchen, okay? It's always one of those shows when you go through the keyhole and you find out what's in people's shows. So Andy's sitting in a posh studio with his guitars on the wall. However, I wonder what his cupboards look like. Is it full of wine or is it full of food? We have to find out. There may be a baked beetle can.
Yeah. Well, my studio is next to my wine room, so I'll have to bypass that to go to the food cupboard.
Well, let's see if you get any wrong first, because basically what we've chosen is food-related music, okay? So songs that have got food in the title, and basically if you get that song wrong, you have to go and grab something from the cupboard before the end of the show, put it in a box, and that's the one that you're going to take over to the food place, wherever your local food place is, okay? So I'm going to go behind the screen. Please play along at home. You have been really good out there in One Life World. You have been playing along, okay? You have been donating to the charities. Thank you very much for all those that do. Have a go at this one, okay? Get your friends and family involved, your kids involved. It is the Easter holidays here in the UK, okay? Get them involved. If you get a question wrong, send them to the cupboard. Get something out of the cupboard. Put it in a bag, and it's going to the local food bank, okay? So I'm going to add this. Food and music. I'm just
Can you name this song?
First things first, Andy, can you hear the music?
Yeah, that's American Pie, Don McLean.
Okay, so the link to food was?
Pie.
Pie. American pie. A good old American pie, okay? That simple.
I started singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy.
That's Don McLean's American Pie, and Pie leads us on to the wonderful combination of food and music as the theme of today's quiz. Every song used in the quiz has at least one food or drink in the song title. All you need to do is identify the 30 songs, and maybe the artist as well if you like.
Okay, just to let everybody know, we don't do the full 30 songs. We probably only do about 10 because that's all we've got time for. Okay, so if you're playing along, it is only 10 questions, okay?
But before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe for a bonus point. Good luck!
Girl, You got me wanting you.
Sugar,
Okay,
sugar, sugar.
What is the food? Sugar, sugar. Who's the band?
Sugar. Is it Hollies? No.
Let's see.
Searchers.
You're gonna change your mind. You got 2 seconds.
Searchers.
Sugar.
Starting off with Sugar Sugar by the Archies from 1969.
Lady Marmalade.
Connected to this
Marmalade.
one? Oh. Marmalade. That's it. Yep.
Your Lady Marmalade.
That's Lady Marmalade by LaBelle from 1974, with a 2001 cover used from the film Moulin Rouge.
So seductive.
Oh, that's 50 Cent Candy Shop.
Oh, he knows his music, Andy. He really does.
I take you to the candy shop. I let you lick the lollipop.
Candy Shop by 50 Cent in 2005 top charts worldwide.
My Lollipop.
Lollipop, is that the next one?
My boy Lollipop. My boy Lollipop.
Originally recorded by Barbie Gay in 1956, this version of My Boy Lollipop by Millie Small had much more success.
I just want to say, actually, this quiz is absolutely brilliant. Whoever's come up with this quiz, I'm impressed. It's really informative.
It's done well.
Okay? It's done very well. P.S. I don't own the copyright to the music or also the video. I've nicked it off YouTube like many others. Okay, there's a bit of an advert. Andy is doing really well. He's making himself feel hungry. Are we partial to sweets? Do you like sweets, Andy?
Occasion. Definitely not when there's wine, but yeah, you know, if you need a little sugar rush.
That's it.
Want a hot tip for instant tooth sensitivity relief?
There you go.
Colgate Sensitive Instant Relief. Buy it yourself, apply it yourself, switch on instant relief yourself. Wherever you are, whenever it's needed.
There you go. Good message, everyone.
Good message, everyone. Yeah.
Chew good.
And if the toothpaste isn't enough, go for the extra. Was that one?
Oh, it's getting harder. Is Andy know this one at all?
No, no idea.
Oh, that means, Andy, you are having to go to the cupboard, but you don't have to go now. What we'll do at the end of the show is we'll get you to go to the cupboard and we'll get you to put a photo on One Life, okay, of the things that you've put in your cupboard. But I want to make sure that you do it, okay? I want to see that it comes on, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that one we will get to and we'll find out who it was. So that's one item you're taking over to your local food bank.
Gym Class Heroes released Cookie Jar in 2008.
Never heard of that. Brown Sugar, that's the Stones. That's more like it.
Yeah, there you go. In our era, should I say?
Yeah. Never heard of that cookie.
Brown Sugar by the Rolling Stones topped the American and Canadian charts in 1971.
Wake up! Run, rush, and put a little makeup. I just have to fade away the hiccup.
Ooh, hard one for question number 7.
Yeah, no idea.
Andy, sorry, I got a clue on that one.
No
he was
idea.
so confident about the one before, but this one, like, really.
It's
like,
all going well
different.
to the Cookie Monster. Cane me.
It was.
I've got no idea on that one.
Okay, let's find out who it was. I haven't got a clue on this one, actually. I'm really stuck.
When angels deserve to
System of a Down's platinum certified 2001 song Chop Suey.
Probably, all my Aussie mates will probably know that. They like their
Sweet tea, pecan pie, and homemade wine, where the peaches grow.
No, see, country, they love out here as well. And no, I've got no idea.
Okay. No idea on the country one. Oh, he's slacking now, everyone.
And a little bit of chicken fried. Cold beer on a Friday night.
Chicken Fried by Zach Brown's band topped the Billboard US Hot Country Songs chart.
Yeah, pass.
Okay, last one.
Nope.
No? Oh.
No. Oh, epic fail towards the end.
You're doing so well. You've been
Oh,
doing
no,
so
first
well.
half.
It
Game
got
of
you
two
right
halves,
towards
see?
the end. The
Game of two halves.
eh? Pork and Beans by Weezer.
Bit of a double whammy with Pork and Beans by Weezer.
Used to play a Weezer song. We used to play Buddy Holly, but never heard of that song.
Did you?
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
what?
years ago.
Where'd you come up when you songwrite? Where'd you think, do you know what? I'm in a local pub. I'm just eating pork and beans. I'm going to write a
Actually,
song
but-
about pork and beans.
And a band like Weezer as well. What? There must have been a lot of fun going on one night with, things which probably aren't illegal or legal.
Exactly. There must have been a lot of drink on that one just to come up with pork and beans.
I reckon.
Especially something like that. Anyway, thank you, Andy. You got 6 out of 10. So that's 4 items out of your cupboard that you are going to take down to your local food bank, okay?
Absolutely.
And we want you to take a picture and be proud of the fact that you are donating to your local food bank this week, okay? Go through those cupboards. Let's find out what you've really got. Be inventive, okay? And while you're there, drop your CD off or drop your track off to your local, because what we were talking about the other day is how can we get our indie music out more? And I was saying, do you know what? Over the tannoy, how often do we go into a supermarket and we hear Lady Gaga or we hear God knows what else? Why can't they play indie music? I'm sure that they could. If you just went in there and say, hi, I'm the local musician down the road. Would you play my song over the tannoy? There you go. You're taking your food in and we're also promoting your music, okay? So thank you for taking part in that.
No,
It was
we'll do
a bit
that
of fun,
weekend.
okay? Fantastic.
Definitely.
It was a bit of fun.
We'll do that. Absolutely.
So we've got the rest. We've got the rest of 2025. We're nearly towards the end of the show. What are you going to be your highlights for the rest of the year?
For me, I think, they're all coming up this month with these votes, and then anticipating the results on the 2nd of May. There it is. Easy for me to say. That wine's going out
too much wine, everybody. Too much wine.
And then, we'll see. Look, we'll see. We just built a house last year, so we'll see. If I get nominated, who knows? If I make it to those finals, what a great story that'll be, because that would be amazing to come back with an award. And remember, this group, the ISSA it's not a Mickey Mouse little group here. This is pretty good. There's some amazing musicians in this group, and that's my brother saying hello. Back in the UK. There's some amazingly talented musicians in this group, and it's an honor to be involved with it.
Brilliant. Everybody, Andy's got some great music out, and he's well worth a vote for today, okay? Adam, I'm sure you've done it on every single device, okay? Just remember, 1 vote each device. If you've got 12 devices in your household, that's 12 votes, okay, for your brother's music, okay? Get behind him, because he really wants to go to Atlanta, and he, but like all of us, really deserve to have that special trip over to Atlanta this year, okay? Is there anyone particularly that you want to say a thank you to in relation to your music and supporting you as a musician?
I think predominantly with the original stuff, definitely my wife, Laura. Some days she's had to put up with me kind of writing, demoing, and you get that look. But no, bless her, she's fully supportive, right behind me all the way. And my son now is 10. He'll watch his back tomorrow, but he is not a fan. I think that's whether just 10-year-olds do that. But he goes, "What are you on? What are you on YouTube for?" I said, "Well, we're doing this podcast. What's it about?" I said, "Music." You went, "Your music?" I went, "Yeah." You went, "Oh, I'm not listening to that." All right, thanks, mate.
Kids these days.
But I know his banter.
You know
He's
what
at
I
that
want you to
banter
do
age.
is I want you to go outside his room this evening with your guitar and just play it all night while he's trying to sleep, just to get him back. If you're listening, your dad's going out 5 days a week, okay, to earn money for your next PlayStation or whatever gaming system that you're on, young man. Respect your elders and listen to his music.
Exactly. Or I could do that in the morning when I get up for work at 5:30. So yeah, I might just go and hit a drum or something.
We'll go back to the future. We'll go back to the future on him, okay? With a massive, great big speaker outside his room. Connect the guitar and just blow the door off.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't know how to rock these kids these days.
Exactly. You know, don't know they're born, but he's at that banterous age a little bit, and unfortunately, he gets his humor from me. You know, dry, sarcastic. So I've got to expect it, really, haven't I?
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from that, my friends, they supported me at a lot of our gigs back home. My friends over here, Chris Sanderson, an Aussie mate, I was bouncing ideas off on this latest EP, which I really appreciated when I was doing. Ian Moncrief, who I mentioned from the Dust Brothers in the UK, big help. Martin Fiddler, again, who played the solo on I Want to Take You Far, and also bounced ideas off on pretty much everything I write. So he was the lead guitarist in the originals band I had, Howlin Haze, which we produced an album, which is out online as well. But then we went our separate ways. But yeah, those guys, I think, are there. And all of you who do actually, whether you say you actually listen to it or you really do listen to it, thank you. It means a lot. And I'm just here doing it for your enjoyment and because I love it.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, your nephew listens, according to your brother. Okay,
so
he's basically...
Hey, Charlie. How you doing, mate?
Well. Hey, Charlie from One Life. Okay, everybody, listen, I'm going to have to draw the show to a close because we are back live on Saturday at 7 p.m. and turn up those speakers because we have got an amazing rock metal band coming up for you. Dawn of the Rising is coming up on Saturday evening. It's going to be an absolute great show. I'm really looking forward to their music. I'm making sure that I've got paracetamol and also a bottle of wine next to me ready, okay, because it'll be 7 o'clock, not 12 o'clock, okay? So, Andy Smith, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. We'll see everybody again soon. Have a pleasant day, everybody, whatever you're doing, and we will see you on Saturday evening. Take good care, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.